5 times every day, hundreds of millions of people interrupt their routines to stand, recite, bow, and place their foreheads on the ground. Recently, scientists have brought this practice into the laboratory, attaching electrodes to practitioners to monitor their brainwaves in real time. The ritual is Salah, the mandatory Islamic prayer. To understand why researchers are studying it, you have to look at the modern human baseline. We live in a state of chronic overstimulation, locking our bodies into a continuous fight-or-flight response. The biological engine driving this is the HPA axis, a neuroendocrine system that reacts to modern anxieties by flooding the body with cortisol. The question for neurobiologists is whether a highly structured, 1,400-year-old physical and verbal routine can intercept and shut down this modern stress loop. This paper examines the psychophysiological impact of Salah on brainwave coherence and stress biomarkers. This diagram details the experimental timeline. Researchers continuously recorded brain activity and collected saliva samples before, during, and after subjects performed the 4 cycles of the midday Sar prayer. They tracked shifts in the autonomic nervous system to pinpoint exact changes in brainwave frequencies. The researchers weren't measuring subjective feelings of peace. They were looking for objective biochemical proof that the biological stress response was being neutralized in real time. The sequence of Salah involves specific physical postures. The most physiologically distinct is the act of prostration, placing the forehead directly on the ground. During this movement, the body's parasympathetic nervous system, responsible for the rest and digest state, activates heavily. Heart rate variability data confirms this. High-frequency bands climb, while low-frequency bands fall, actively lowering blood pressure. At the same time, the brain responds. Alpha waves surge in the parietal and occipital regions, indicating deep physical relaxation. The postures create measurable relaxation, but researchers suspected that the physical movements alone did not account for the full neurological effect. To isolate the exact trigger, a team led by researcher Hazem Dufesh separated the physical motions of the prayer from its cognitive elements. They created a control group that performed the exact same bows and stretches, but in complete silence without any spiritual focus. The other group performed the actual prayer, combining the postures with focused intention and the rhythmic recitation of Quranic verses. This graph shows EEG coherence changes during actual prayer, with a steep trajectory in alpha and theta waves. While the mimic group relaxed, the actual prayer group produced intense theta and gamma spikes in prefrontal and parietal regions, markers of peak cognitive focus and self-awareness. The combination of speech, intention, and movement shifts the brain into a state of focused attention meditation, actively bridging neural networks that process emotion and attention. The effects of this neural synchronization persist after the practitioner finishes and stands back up. This chart displays salivary cortisol levels across the experimental timeline. There is a sharp 27.3% decrease in cortisol immediately following the prayer. 30 minutes later, the levels remain suppressed. That drop represents a direct dampening of the HPA stress axis. The electrical shift in the brain triggers a biochemical crash in the body, systematically shutting down the chronic stress response. Generating this response once creates immediate relief. Generating it 5 times a day, every day, over the course of years, begins to alter the physical structure of the brain. Through a process called self-directed neuroplasticity, the consistent repetition of a specific behavior strengthens the corresponding neural pathways. In sustained focused attention practices, MRI scans reveal an increase in gray matter concentration within the hippocampus, which manages memory and emotional regulation, and a decrease in the mass of the amygdala, the brain's fear center. This diagram outlines the finalized neurotheological model of Salah. It maps the linear progression from physical postures and recitation to HPA axis modulation, and finally to a sustained physiological relaxation response. By forcing a regular pause in daily life to align movement, speech, and focus, the ritual acts as a built-in biological intervention, training the brain to buffer itself against modern stress.